Everybody up, let's go.
Come on, start. Right from the start.
Every Sunday it's the same thing. It starts out the same way. 45 guys, we got 60 minutes. Let's go play Browns football. Let's go.
In 1985, Browns football was a hard-nosed, up-the-gut approach that mirrored the aggressive philosophy of their head coach.
Looking to throw across the middle. He's got out there with some touchdown. Bernie Kosar caught him dead on the numbers.
In his first full season as head coach, Marty Schottenheimer proved as tough a coach as he was a player 2 decades ago. He was a demanding but patient teacher to one of the youngest teams in the NFL.
You see how narrow the slot was split?
Right.
What they were trying to do, watch it on a play-by-play. What? See him going in there? He's going to go in there and try to pick. All right? And that's why I was yelling at you, watch the pick. We just got to take one play at a time. Force them to beat us. Minnie, cloud! Go cloud on him, Minnie! Watch the trap, Coos! Trap, Coos! Minnie, vision! Vision, vision! Hey, Curtis! Watch the fake now! Watch a fake! Hey, DR! Donnie Rogers! Chip, stay outside, Chip, on the rush, stay outside. Hey, Travis, be alert for the fake. Watch the pick, Felix! Clarence, secure the ball. Secure the ball. Protect the flag, Chris! Protect the flag! Hey, Bernie, let's protect the football. When you get knocked down, you got to get up. You got to get up. You can't lay around on the ground. We got to protect the damn quarterback. Come on now. You've had 2 busts in 4 plays.
In what was to be a rebuilding year, Schottenheimer taught his team how to win. They didn't do it as much as he and Cleveland fans would have liked. But the 1985 Browns surprised many by winning the AFC's Central Division. On opening day, the Browns fell behind, then staged a brilliant fourth-quarter comeback against St. Louis. Gary Danielson electrified the crowd, directing 3 touchdown drives in the final 8 minutes. The last came on a perfectly executed misdirection screen pass to Ozzie Newsome. The Wizards' muddy destination was the Cardinal end zone.
He has a lot of room. The 15, the 10, the 5, he's in for a touchdown! Ozzie Newsome barrels into the end zone and the Browns take the lead. Unbelievable.
Look at Ozzie Newsome. His face, his helmet, his jersey is soaked in mud, but he was not going to be denied.
And this place is going nuts. Oh, it is bedlam on the Browns sideline. At 38 seconds to go in the game, and the Browns have the lead for the first time.
But Cleveland cheers were soon stilled. In sudden death, the Cards wrote an opening day obituary for the '85 Browns. Next was a renewal of a rivalry known as much for fists as first downs. Against Pittsburgh, over 79,000 fans and a national TV audience watched the Browns score the only touchdown of the first 3 quarters.
Going for Banks in the end zone, he has it for a touchdown! Freddie Banks, and the Browns take the lead.
The hero on defense was Curtis Weathers, number 55, who had the game of his career. Playing in place of injured Clay Matthews, Weathers had a sack on one play and an interception on the next. It set the stage for Ernest Biner's game-clinching run.
Ernest Biner, big hole, Biner at the 10, at the 5, it's a touchdown! All right.
The 17-7 win was Cleveland's first, and it marked the emergence of the Biner-Mack infantry attack. In San Diego, Kevin Mack raced 61 yards on the first play of the game. The rookie ripped the Chargers for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground.
There's a pitch back to Kevin Mack. He's in trouble in the backfield, breaks away to the 10, to the 5. Mack cuts inside for a touchdown.
With this second win, it was clear number 34 would be a major force in the weeks to come. The next Sunday, the AFC champion Patriots were the opponents.
There's a swing pass out to Brian Brennan. Now he's going to throw it to Newsome, to the 10, to the 5. The gadget play works, and Cleveland takes the lead.
But Gary Danielson suffered a severe shoulder injury that precipitated the premature debut of Bernie Kosar.
Lots of dramatics here at the stadium this afternoon. Bernie Kosar filling in for the injured Gary Danielson.
The heralded rookie calmly and coolly directed 2 second-half touchdown drives, hitting on the first 7 passes of his NFL career. Cleveland took the lead when the Big Mac attack moved the stack. It was the rookie's second straight 100-yard game. But the final minutes belonged to the Dog defense. With the game on the line, it stopped the Pats inches short on a pair of great goal line stands.
He hands the ball up to Tutupu, and he doesn't get it. Tutupu is stacked up at the 2-yard line. 9 members of the Browns defense were there.
The dramatic victory put Cleveland alone atop the Central Division. After Kosar's impressive debut, Gary Danielson, injured arm in a sling, told the press, "I might be out of the lineup several games, or 15 years." 7 days later in Houston, Kosar made his first start a winning one.
Has a man open, Weathers, 30, 25, 20, 15, touchdown! Bernie Kosar beat the blitz.
That'll break the ice in a hurry.
68
Hey, Bernie, I know talent when I see it. I haven't spent much time talking to you about it because I can't do anything to help you. You're going to do it yourself. I'm excited for you.
I feel more and more sure about myself every week. As I get the repetitions and the game experience, I feel a lot more comfortable out there on the playing field.
But after 4 wins in 5 weeks, Cleveland lost its next 4 games, 2 by a point on the final play. From the lofty perch of a 2-game lead, the Browns fell into last place. Here, Schottenheimer showed his leadership, refusing to allow his team to fade from the playoff picture. The turnabout came against Buffalo, with the rejuvenation of the running attack. Cleveland would win 4 of its next 5. 7 days later, the defense pancaked Boomer and the Bengals. The Dogs had 5 sacks and held the AFC's highest scoring team to only 6 points. The knockout punch was provided by Gary Danielson, starting for the first time since his injury. The old pro slew the Tiger with 1 toss, beating an all-out blitz. Danielson to Weathers, bad arm to bum leg for 72 yards. It was the Browns' only pass of the entire second half. With the bagging of the Bengals, the Browns were back on top, tied for first.
I think the true test of our team has come towards the end of the season. We have a lot of new players, including myself on the team, a lot of new coaches, a new offensive system. I think we've performed well in the critical game.
In the run for the playoffs, no game was more critical than the Giants. In the Meadowlands, the Browns built a lead on 2 runs and a theft. Their leading interceptor, safety Al Gross, picked Phil Simms clean with nothing but green pasture ahead.
Intercepted. Al Gross is going to go for a touchdown. Phil Simms put it right in his hip pocket, and Al Gross puts the Browns on top 20-7.
But Cleveland's cushion was punctured by a trio of Joe Morris touchdowns. The call went to the bullpen, and the entire season now hinged on Gary Danielson's aching right shoulder. In a final 10 minutes that ranked with the best of the old cardiac kids, Danielson lifted his team to a furious 4th-quarter comeback. Hurting on every throw, the inspired veteran exploited the narrowest crack, somehow found the slightest seam in the enemy's defense. Gary Danielson willed the Browns 65 yards in 6 plays.
Danielson pivots. He's going to throw. Deep down the left side. It's a touchdown for Clarence Weathers. The Browns are back in it.
Danielson took a terrific pounding and was knocked out of the game.
Let's win this one for Gary Danielson because he laid it on the line today. Boy, did he ever lay it on the line.
Kosar now at quarterback. Biner the single setback. Hand off to Biner up the middle to the 5. Biner with room. He scores! Ernie Biner with a touchdown. The Browns take the lead.
They had the right play call, and they caught the Giants napping.
The clock has expired, and the Browns win it 35-33 and adjust your pacemakers back to neutral.
The dramatic win gave Cleveland sole possession of first place and propelled them into the playoffs.
Nothing Bernie does surprises me, but taking a team and leading the team like he did in the playoffs for the first year, he should be very proud.
The Browns reached the playoffs with a not-ready-for-prime-time attack, comprised of a rookie quarterback handing off to a pair of first-year starting backs. The wave of change on offense was so strong, the Browns had 9 new starters. Kosar became the most famous number 19 to pitch a ball for Cleveland since Bob Feller. The 6'5" youngster was prematurely thrust into the spotlight. He handled the pressure amazingly well.
The most impressive characteristic about Bernie Kosar, despite whatever happened, be it good, bad, he always remained the same. He is, in my words, I would characterize him as unflappable. That is the thing that is going to make him a top National Football League winning quarterback. Because Bernie Kosar is one of the finest deep throwers I've ever been around.
Kosar going to roll right after a fake handoff. Throwing deep down the right side for Glenn Young. He caught the ball for a touchdown. Beautifully thrown bomb.
Kosar achieved an NFL first, a successful jump to the pros 2 years ahead of his class. One reason was the influence of Danielson, who did exactly what he was brought to Cleveland to do. Gary's courage rubbed off on his teammates.
I don't know if courageous is the word. I think it's workmanlike. That's kind of how my career has gone. If there's anyone who fits the journeyman label, it may be me, and his future is unlimited in this league. And I did my part right on cue by taking the dive so he could get some playing.
They have an excellent relationship. Bernie has a respect for Gary and can watch a guy like Gary Danielson and see what he does, and Gary's gone out of his way throughout it all. They've worked very, very well together.
No matter which QB ran the huddle, he was hampered by lack of experience and speed at wide receiver. The only burner was Clarence Weathers, who set a team record with a league-high 28 yards per catch. When he was in the lineup, the Browns usually won. When it comes to pass receiving, no one can match Ozzie Newsome, who became the NFL's all-time leading tight end.
Ozzie has had the finest season that he's had since I've been associated with the Browns, which is now 6 years. He's always made the big catch when it need be made, and he's done an excellent job of blocking and providing leadership for a very, very young offensive football team. In my opinion, he's the most valuable player on our team.
The Wizard continued to wave his wand. Over the past 6 seasons, he has caught more passes than anyone in the NFL. The forward wall gave the Crown Prince the 4th best pass protection in the league and were pathfinders for a rare pair of 1,000-yard rushers. Rebuilt from scratch with younger, stronger players, the change was so great that in one season, center Mike Babb at 25 went from youngest to one of the oldest on the line.
The good thing about it is that what we've accomplished with 2,000-yard rushers, great young quarterback, and Ozzie in the Pro Bowl, we really haven't played together a lot. So give us a year and let us play together, and you'll see how good we can get.
Cleveland's pride was its twin backs, Biner and Mack. Only the 3rd pair in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards in a single season. Their achievement was testament to the faith and encouragement of their coach.
Hey, Kevin, You just keep running and picking and looking, because there's going to be some holes created there. We're getting it, we're a little distorted right now, but we're going to be fine. You just got to have a little more patience, and it'll be there. Okay. Just got because it's there.
Kevin Mack shattered Jim Brown's rookie rushing record and was named to the Pro Bowl. While hard work and determination made Ernest Biner the best all-purpose back in the league. But for Rookie of the Year Mack, nothing could be finer than to team with Ernest Biner in the backfield. Marty explains the importance of being Ernest.
Ernest Biner is a complete back. He is an excellent blocker, as good a blocker as I've seen in the National Football League. And he is a very good pass receiver. As a runner, he is a good runner. I don't say that he's a great runner. He doesn't have great speed, but he's the type of runner that always makes positive yardage, and he has a certain excitement about him when he runs with the ball that is a positive effect on our football team.
Ernest Biner goes all the way, and the Browns put the ball game away with it.
Kevin Mack has more speed, is not as good a blocker as Ernest. He has also been a good receiver for us. Together, they complement one another very well.
On the field, we're very much alike. Have the same goals. We want to be the best, and it's great for us to be in there together because it helps me and him.
The first play of every football game starts with either a kickoff or kickoff return, and we have the opportunity to create a tempo and a personality of our football team. I think our guys are taking a lot of pride in doing that. Coach Schottenheimer has put a lot of emphasis on special teams this year. I think the guys right now are getting the job done. We're having fun, playing with a lot of enthusiasm and a high level of intensity.
Such high intensity that the special teams rocketed from worst to first in kick coverage. Much credit goes to their energetic position coach, Bill Cowher.
I feel like I'm an extension of the guys. Maybe the reason why we are number one is we got 12 guys covering. I tell the guys as we're going down there that just force them into our sideline and I'll be there to make the play.
Membership on Cowher's squad is not banishment to Siberia. One highly visible member was Glenn Young.
Glenn Young has those little things that you can't teach. Once he gets the ball, he's able to hit a seam at a high rate of speed. You're not going to arm tackle Glenn Young, and that's the great tribute of great returners.
Glenn Young had 9 flashes of over 30 yards and led the entire American Conference in kick returns. While the special teams flourished, Cleveland's defense had its share of dog day afternoons. A 4-game slump ruined their statistical ranking, but there was plenty to celebrate as 3 dogs were named to the Pro Bowl. Both outside linebackers, Clay Matthews, number 57, and Chip Banks were repeaters, while Bob Golick was honored for the first time. The ex-All-State wrestler from St. Joe's values his background.
Wrestling is nothing more than man against man. That's what allowed me to come in and perform at the position well enough where, I could stick around for a few years. I'm not really as strong as a lot of these guys, but I think the fact that I can handle a man one-on-one, use leverage to control him or keep him a little bit off balance, that is something that's allowing me to survive.
Golick did more than survive. In his finest season, he was named to the Sporting News All-Pro First Team. Blitzing Clay Matthews was again named All-Pro despite lingering leg injuries throughout the year. But the defense's top dog was Chip Banks, who often was in the backfield with the snap of the ball. This year, Chip Banks reasserted his reputation as an unstoppable force.
Chip Banks, in my opinion, is the best outside linebacker in the National Football League. I've seen Chip make plays only Superman could possibly make. He's unblockable.
I try to look at myself as one who can come up with the big plays in key situations and make opponent quarterbacks aware at all times who I am and create havoc for their offense.
Banks' havoc included a career-high 11 sacks and Pro Bowl honors for the 3rd time in 4 years. Opponents wanted no part of Chip Banks. Inside were number 50, Tom Cousineau, the team's third leading tackler, and Eddie Johnson, number 51. EJ emerged from the shadow of the 3 top draft picks the Browns have at linebacker to shine with his savage play in 1985.
Eddie Johnson is the Ernest Biner, if you will, of our defense. Great leadership ability, toughness about him, and a hitting ability about him that is infectious to our defensive football team.
The thing that I do best is hit people, take people on. My game is destruction. I fear no one. I now continue to improve and get better. And in due time, I think my publicity, my name will be exposed the way it really should be.
A beautiful sunny day here in Miami, Florida. 75,000 excited fans here today to bring you this playoff game between the Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns.
In the playoffs, Cleveland faced a hostile Orange Bowl crowd and the battle-tested Dolphins. They countered with a kid quarterback returning to the scene of his greatest triumphs and a grassroots game plan that could bring a smile only to a traditionalist like Schottenheimer. The key on defense was the Cleveland corners, Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield, who lined up tight and hounded Miami receivers with aggressive man-to-man coverage. They held the Marks brothers to 1 catch.
Deep down the right side, trying to go for Duper. Gross is there and bats it away in the end zone. Al Gross had Mark Super Duper covered like the proverbial blanket.
They are confusing Dan Marino. They are covering well, and they are shutting down Miami's vaunted offense.
Throws over the middle, passes intercepted by Don Rogers. Rogers at the 10, 15, 20, with thrown to the 30. A brilliant read on the pass. He picked it off at the goal line and brought it back 45 yards. He was venturing into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, and they have seen what Don Rogers likes to do to receivers who cut across the middle.
Offensively, the game plan was to simply stuff the ball down the Dolphins' throat. Sparked by Kevin Mack and a record-breaking performance by Ernest Biner, the Browns showed highly favored Miami that underdogs can bite.
The 5, Biner is in for a touchdown. Ernie Biner got across the goal line. That's a run of 21 yards.
Tell me that guy's not the heart and soul of this offense.
He's the guy that makes it happen, and he creates it. And that time, you got to give Ernest Biner every bit of from the 10-yard line on in. He made some great moves and just was not going to be denied.
Biner was hit at the 5. He spun away to the 3. He was hit at the 2, hit at the 1, and he lunged forward with his right hand and put the ball across the goal line.
Browns are averaging 6 yards per carry.
They have their KBG offense in. That's kick their butts on the ground. That's what they've been doing.
That's what they call it.
KGB.
The give is to Biner. Follows Max Block. Got an opening. 40, 45, 50. Dolphin territory. 40. He could go. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown.
Ryder.
6 yards. Unbelievable.
Boy, was that shades of Leroy Kelly, Jim Brown, and a few others. What a run. Don Shula is not too pleased, and this Miami Dolphins crowd is stunned.
The Browns dominated the Dolphins for most of the game, but the final minutes belonged to the home team. One of the most dramatic upsets in NFL playoff history eluded the Browns.
The Dolphins fortunate to escape with a victory. Will continue on in the AFC playoff, and the Browns season is done.
This young Browns team gave Miami all it could handle. Though they finally fell short, their heroic attempt reflects collective pride.
Nothing to be ashamed of. They played a great football game today. They did something we didn't expect them to do this year. They should hold their heads high because they should be proud of the way they played. It was a great effort today.
The Browns won their division, but their coach is not satisfied. Marty hopes the promising performance in the playoffs serves as a launching pad for the real target.
Our goal throughout has been the Super Bowl. Our feeling has been and will always be that you have to set your goals at the ultimate. To achieve anything less than that is not going to satisfy you. So our goal is and has been and will be to become world champions.